listen, this is where the slugfest begins. Y'all know what I'm trying to say. I'm flustered. Where are the games? Which do I like better? Which do I choose? Or which do I think is the better console for me, or in my opinion, which delivered on next-gen console gaming? Which one is actually better? Which one do I prefer to use? This is the PS5 versus the Xbox Series X. It's like 8-9 months later. I took my time. I didn't want to jump out and hurry up and rush because we all know this is new gen. And when you get it at day one, these are launch devices, both purchased on the release date. We still got updates to get, firmware updates, bugs to buff out, and also we need games. A lot of hot topics in between these two. And let me give you a quick little background on me. I'm gonna be honest. I've been PlayStation since day one, but before you write me off, I got my very first Xbox a year and a half ago with the Xbox Series X. I was extremely, extremely impressed. But when it comes down to this Xbox Series X and this PS5, there's a lot of back and forth. Let's just get into the video. Before we get into this video, before I kick all of the sauce, the pros and the cons of each, are you team PS5 or team Xbox Series X? Hit the comment section down below and let me know where you stand. And then let's get into this video and let's talk about the truth between these two console devices. Okay, so the first topic or place of discussion is gonna be this here, the controller. We have the PS5 controller and we have the Xbox Series X controller. Now looking at these two, you can tell which one has changed and which one hasn't really changed. Is that a problem? Let's talk about it. Now, let's start off with the Xbox Series X controller. We got the all black, blacked out, you know what I mean? Nice tactical buttons and so forth. But at the end of the day, from the previous generation of controllers, this is not much different at all. No adaptive triggers or new haptics, and pretty much it's the same controller to a degree, you know what I mean? Now, they did add this share button. Also, I think one of the plus sides, I guess we can throw in there with the Xbox Series X controller not changing is the fact that all of your old like add-ons and things like that, it's pretty much gonna work with the things you had before. Like some people have those headphone preamps that plug in right here. It'll still fit on this controller because it hasn't changed. Now, I will say this, although the Xbox Series X controller hasn't changed, it's one of the more comfortable controllers when it comes down to Xbox or PlayStation. I love the Xbox Series X controller. Got these nice grips on the bottom. It's just a nice, well-built controller, the tactile buttons. But really and truly, when it comes to the Xbox, I'm on the Xbox Series 2 Elite controller. Love-hate relationship with this controller. I won't even lie. I've had to have this controller replaced, I think, twice. And technically, this one isn't perfect as far as the tension turn screw on this thing. But at the end of the day, the Xbox Series X controller, not much has changed, you know what I mean? But it's a good and a bad thing for some people. Okay, now let's talk about what has actually changed, and that is the PlayStation 5 controller. You guys, this controller right here is next level. This controller right here is everything that we wanted to see in a next-gen controller. 100,000%. This one's a little dusty. See the white? See, that's why you don't listen, man. That's why you get the nice little, this red one right here. I love it. This controller has made the most improvements. This controller is the better controller, period. Adaptive triggers. Do I even have to go on? The adaptive triggers alone for the games that do adopt it is phenomenal. Shooting games, getting that trigger resistance. Even on NBA 2K21, as your player gets tired when you're hitting the turbo, it's a lot harder to press and so forth. The adaptive triggers are extremely dope. They add to the element of the game, and also, not only did they improve that, they brought in those haptics, those new improved haptics. So the combination of these adaptive triggers and these new haptics, the PS5 controller, hands down, without argument or question, is the better controller. Gotta love it, but it's not perfect. The battery life. I mean, PlayStation controllers are known for having a terrible battery life. Keep your cable ready and on hand if you're into a long gaming session. But outside of that, love this controller. It has gotten better ergonomically and so forth. I just like the PS5 controller. Which one's better? PlayStation 5. All right, next up, let's talk about the design. The design. Now, when it comes to the Xbox Series X, I feel like this is the more sleeker, smoother, well thought out design. But CJ, it's just a rectangle. You know what I mean? I think it's a little bit more than that. Also, if you look at the engineering from the internals and how the airflow works and everything about it, I think Xbox took the design to the right level. Then we come over here to the PlayStation 5. It's big. It's too big. It's what she said. Nah, listen. This thing is massive. This thing is not convenient at all. Placing this thing has become a caveat, or it gets annoying. Why is it like, no, this is not a PlayStation design. I've been with PlayStation a long time. This does not look like a PlayStation at all. But with that being said, hey, they went outside of the box. They tried something a little different. Can I knock them for it? Yes. But some people might love it. Some people might like it. I'm not the biggest fan of the look and design at all. I mean, not at all, completely. Like, I mean, no, I don't like it. So when it comes to the design department, I'm gonna give it to the Xbox Series X. This looks a lot better. This can be placed a lot easier. And I think it's just well put together and more thought out than the PlayStation. And we'll get more into that as we get into the other categories, because that's where you'll see why I say the Xbox Series X has a better design. So, the next category that we're gonna speak on is performance. Now, I'm gonna keep it a buck. When I got that Xbox One X, I was blown away at the performance and the capabilities. We was doing 120 hertz on the Xbox One X. But hence, the new gens, they bring 4K 120 hertz to the gaming table for the console players. The Xbox has technically and typically always been more horse drive driven, more powerful, more put together in the performance category than the PlayStation. Now the PlayStation is cool. It's catching up. It's starting to minimize and close that gap with this PlayStation 5. So when it goes to performance, honestly, either way you go, you're gonna get a great performing console. But there are some things like where the PlayStation 5 is finessing and Xbox Series X is just giving it to you. Especially when it comes to like 1440p gaming at 120 hertz. It's not on the PS5. The 4K output, I don't know. Like, I hear different, assumptions to the 4K output with the PS5 versus the Xbox Series X and stuff. At the end of the day, man, it's next gen console. And the thing is, you have to have the proper tools to experience what this next gen experience is all about. And if you have that, HDMI 2.1, I did a video about the best monitor, the HDMI 2.1 43-inch monitor from Aorus over there, which I'm using. You gotta have a monitor that can allow you to take advantage of what these next gen consoles have to offer. So as long as you have that, you will see the performance and you will see the upgrade going into the PlayStation 5 or the Xbox Series X. When it comes to performance, it's neck and neck. I'm not gonna pick one over the other, although technically the Xbox Series X has a little bit of horsepower, but there's other ways with the SSD being faster and stuff on the PS5. That's why I say it's just neck and neck. The next category we want to talk about is the user interface. Now, when it comes to the user interface between the two, the Xbox, not much really changed. If you had a previous, like I had the Xbox One X, I didn't feel any different with the Xbox Series X when I booted it up and got into the user interface. Other than the plus side of that is it was familiar and able to be navigated a lot smoother and quickly. PlayStation 5, on the other hand, has revamped their user interface, and it's for the better. Like, it's a 4K visual user interface, which is not on the Xbox Series X. It looks great and everything, but it's not as intuitive from the previous. It's like more button presses, more navigation, more things to go through to do things that you typically could have did quicker on the previous PlayStation 4. So when it comes to the user interface, they're both meh. So I'm not gonna give it to either one. You know what I mean? That's a draw at the end of the day. The plus side, easy to use because if you use the previous Xbox, the user face is the same. PS5, there's improvements, it looks great, but there's also a little navigational extra. All right, the next category we're gonna talk about between these two is memory expansion. Now this is where the Xbox launched with a proprietary memory expansion. It even has the slot for it and everything. And it's a bit pricey, but it's available. Hence the PS5. See, when you get it, you know, these next gen consoles on day one, everything isn't there. Still have yet to have a memory expansion solution for it. It's disappointing, Sony. There's a slot for it, but there's no support. You never buy tech with the promises of later and all that stuff, but like, I mean, Sony, it's been a while since the PS5 has been out. We don't have expansion. I have an all digital version. Have you seen the file size of Call of Duty? Warzone? Have you seen the file size of these games? Where is our expansion slot? You know, y'all know what I'm trying to say. I'm flustered. Anyways, Xbox Series X wins in that category simply because they have it. It's expensive, but they have it. PlayStation 5, they don't have it. Now, yeah, you can probably plug up like a little external hard drive and do that offloading and all that stuff. That's cool, or external SSD and all that. I want the expansion slot. Yes, I want what I pay for. Do you know how hard it is to get the PlayStation 5? I want it all. Okay, so the next category in this head-to-head is gonna be games. This is the topic of discussion. This is where things get a little interesting. This is where the slugfest begins. Now, Xbox Series X, where are the games? I mean, you know, you got some Forza, you got Halo, Gears of War, things like that. But where are the games? The next gen games. Where are they, Xbox? Slow to the plate in the game selection on the Xbox Series X. The plus side, however, is Game Pass. The Game Pass is by far the best deal in gaming, period. The titles that are available via Game Pass are amazing. They are high-end titles, and the titles that are promised to come to Game Pass are amazing. So, honestly, Game Pass is revolutionary. So, let's hold that thought. PlayStation 5. Games. We had games when we launched, you know what I mean? Had some Spider-Man, Miles Morales, super lit. Last of Us, Ghost of Tsushima, exclusives. When you come to the PlayStation platform, that is where the exclusives live. So if you're into those exclusive titles, I mean, it's only one place to look. But PlayStation Now? Whew. No, it's not comparing to Game Pass. So we have a dilemma when talking games and the battle of games in between the two. It comes down to the user. You want those exclusives? You want more games at launch? You want more games just in general. The PlayStation 5 has you, but they're all gonna cost you. You gotta pay for each individual game. The gaming experience comes at a cost on the PlayStation 5. Well, on the other hand, on the Xbox Series X, it comes at a bargain. Does that make up for the lack of games? In a lot of instances, yes. Those people who have young children, and you might be on a budget, you know, come on, man, this is like a Christmas console for a lot of kids. Parents are gonna break the bank just to get them that next gen console, and then the games, they're not getting any cheaper. But I could get my kid Game Pass. He has a lot of games to play with, keep him kind of busy, and help my pocket, player. You understand? So the Xbox Series X shines in that aspect. The PlayStation 5 shines with the plethora of games and the selection of exclusives. Pick your poison. I'm not giving it to one or the other because each side can be argued and each side is perfectly justifiable. Whew, my mic is on. I gotta keep checking my mic because my mic is on red. Okay, last subject, user experience. This is what matters the most. When you pick up this controller and you sit at your device and you go to enjoy your gaming, the user experience. By far, the user experience on both of these consoles are great. It's the next gen console. It's not perfect. In the beginning, the PlayStation 5 was rough, glitching, booting you out, all kind of stuff. I'm pretty sure the Xbox Series X has had its quarrels as well. I remember the disc ejecting for some people and all that stuff. I will say this, I feel like when I go to the 120 Hz 4K gameplay, it's smooth for the most part on both. When I first hooked up to my brand new monitor, I won't lie, the Xbox felt a lot more easier in the 4K 120 Hz when I was playing COD for competitive play, you guys, than the PlayStation 5. But the PlayStation 5, over time, kind of like, you know, kind of rectifies. Honestly, the user experience is really gonna come down to you, the user, because everybody has their personal preferences when it comes to gaming. It's not really this one is better than that one conversation. It's this one is better for me than that one, or this one is better for me than that one. That's the conversation at hand. Which do I like better? Which do I choose? Or which do I think is the better console for me, or in my opinion, which delivered on next-gen console gaming? This controller, hands down, changes the gaming experience on the PlayStation 5, period, which is why I would say that the PlayStation 5 is the better next-gen console for me. I love this adaptive trigger, the new haptics, just the all-around inclusivity that it gives you. You feel a part of the game. How do you take someone who's gaming at home on their console and make them feel a part of that game? You build a controller like this. That's the end of the discussion, player. Hit that like button if you like the video. Smash the subscribe button for more dope tech, gaming, and lifestyle content here on CJ Unplugged. My name is CJ, player, if you haven't heard. And this is a tough decision, but a decision has been made. Comment down below in the description and not the description, but the comment section. You know what I'm trying to say. And let me know where you stand. Peace and love.
I put in work, you know I'm up to get it. Early bird gets the worm and the Yankee fitted. Like, whoa, bags under my eyes and you know, won't complain, I'm tired, I'm on go. For that grip, 10 toes till they swole. For that grip, 10 toes till they swole. Remember those days, those L's, I couldn't sleep right now. I get paid, vacay, I'm staying B-side. Breaking the blues over steak, I gotta eat right. You could be my peace sign.